Have you ever wondered how to sell without being pushy? In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break down a couple of tips that you can use, a couple of mentalities that you can take, and you're going to learn exactly how to sell without being pushy. What's happening, Sales Center? Sean here, and in this video, like I mentioned, I'm going to teach you how to sell without being pushy. So if this is up your alley, if you feel like you're going into sales conversations and you're like, why does it always feel like I'm so pushy all the time? This video is for you. So welcome to another High Ticket Tune-Up. I'm Sean, part of the Sales Ascender squad here, and I got a great question the other day from a friend of mine, and so let me just pop the question up here so you can see it. And Eddie asked this. He said, Sean, I always feel like I'm pushy when I sell. How can I stop this feeling? And I love the question because I used to feel the same way. Like when I first started selling, one of the things that I remember was I was so excited. I would have this like overbearing enthusiasm of, oh my God, I'm here. I'm going to sell this thing to you. I can't wait to sell it to you. I got to talk to you all about it. I got to share everything about it. And I would always go in with that kind of energy. And it was way too much. Like it was just out of hand for all of my prospects and my clients. And they never bought from me. And I would always go in there and the question, it would be like, so what do you got? And I would be like, show and dance time. Like, let me share everything that I have to sell. I'm going to give it all to you. And then I would jabber. And then at the end, I would get this, ooh, like not really interested, right? Like, nah, no, not the thing. And it wasn't until I learned a couple of things about sales training, because when I used to get in these conversations, like a lot of things would happen. Like I would show and tell, I would spill all of the candy that I had in the lobby. And next thing you know, people would say, no, not interested, right? So the first thing I always get is, oh, well, not really interested. Could you just give me some information? And I thought in the first time of when I was starting to sell, I was like, that's cool. Well, here you go. Here's all this information. And then I felt like I was always intruding on them. I felt like I was going in and kind of wasting their time. What I didn't realize was like my time is valuable too. And so the first thing is to recognize your time as a sales professional, sales ascender is valuable, just like theirs is too. The reason that you're in there is to solve a problem for them, right? And your solution might be something that they need. And so the first thing to say to this is like how to sell without being pushy. Tip number one is lose the enthusiasm, right? Come in with calm confidence. So that'd be the first big tip. So like lose the enthusiasm, come in with calm confidence. Because when you come in with calm confidence and you say, hey, listen, like I'm Sean, I'm here. I'm really excited to speak with you about what it is that you do here. And you know, if I can help you solve a problem that I solve, then let's talk about it, right? And that entrance and that opening seems to be much more well received. It doesn't feel pushy. They say, oh, we're just gonna have a conversation. And the true secret that I learned about this was instead of me sharing all of my stuff that I knew about my products, my services, and all the things that I sold, instead what I started to do was focus the conversation on them, because I knew what I had in my back. And I you know, like before learning this, I would just like spout out at the mouth, verbal diarrhea, give them everything I got. And then I would say, well, what do you think? That was how I sold, because that's how I was taught. It wasn't until I learned, no, reserve all the stuff that you know. Don't talk about your products and services yet. Come in and say, hey, I'm really excited to speak with you and learn how things are going. Okay, cool. Let's talk. Well, you know, I do this one sentence. You know, the clients come to me when they're struggling with this, worried about this, frustrated by this, or maybe this is happening in their world. And so I'm curious, do you struggle with this? And all of a sudden the conversation is not me sharing a bunch of stuff about what I know, but rather I've positioned myself as an expert because I said, hey, look, clients come to me when they're struggling with this, they're worried about this, they're pissed off this happened, and sometimes they're annoyed that this goes on in their world, and I fix that for them. So out of curiosity, before I share everything that I've got, like I'm just wondering, do you struggle with this, or are you frustrated that this is happening? And then I would get into this conversation with them about, well, no, that's not really a problem. Okay, cool. Well, that one's not. How about this? Are you worried that this might be going on in your world? Oh, that's the one. Oh, okay. Well, tell me more about that, right? And all of a sudden, it's not me being pushy, rather it's me exploring. And so the big idea, the big agenda of how do you sell without feeling pushy is focus on them. Don't focus on you and what you have to deliver. Focus on them and the problem that they have. And it's only once you understand that they have a problem that you can solve for them that you should start to begin the rest of the sales process. Because once you know, oh my gosh, you have the problem that I solve. and I solve it really well. In fact, I solve it better than most people on the planet. I know I do because I've done it tons and tons of times. Should we talk about that? Yes, we should. Okay, well, let's get into, the problem, and you can keep talking about their problem. And now you're into a conversation where the prospect's thinking like, oh my gosh, like this person is listening to me, person is understanding where I'm at. They're not throwing things down my throat. And most people forget how to be a buyer. And I think that's the big thing. Like getting rid of being pushy is remember what it feels like to be a buyer is probably the best advice that I can share with you, because what happens is like when you buy something, you don't like anyone to throw or shove things down your throat. That feels pushy and gross. Rather, if somebody came in, like a doctor, for example, and said, hey, oh, you're hurting? Like where your knee hurts? Okay, tell me more. Like, why does it hurt? How does it hurt? Which way does it hurt? And now you have a chance to start explaining the problem that you're feeling internally in your body or in your business. And then the sales professional can diagnose. And when the sales professional comes in and diagnose, then all of a sudden, oh, you have the problem that I solve. I know I can do that problem. I fix it all the time. And in fact, here's the results or the case studies of 10 different clients that are just like you that had the same results. A little of them are each different story, but this is the result they got. And when that person says, oh my gosh, that's what it is, now you're in a place where you can move through like once you've determined that you can solve a problem for them and it hasn't been pushy at all, and you say, hey, could we take a second to discuss the type of time, energy, and money budget it's going to take to solve this problem for you, because I've done it so many times. That's not being pushy, but that's moving into the money compartment. And now I can say, well, great. When you've invested in something like this before, like, how did it go? What happened? Tell me more. And then they start saying, well, when I bought something that was about this expensive, this was my experience. And next thing you know, now you have an idea of exactly when they've bought something similar to what yours costs, you know how they make that decision, where the money came from. You can just uncover that. And then you move into the next stage is like, so how do you make decisions? And notice I haven't shared anything that I've done yet. And that's a secret, because I've come in and I know I'm a professional at what I do. I know that I can fix anybody's prospecting problem and I can fix anybody's sales problem because I've done it thousands of times. And so if that's my specialty, and your specialty is going to be different, you've done whatever you've done hundreds and thousands of times as well, and your prospective client is going to be having some sort of an issue with the problem that you give to them. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in business, because you're not solving problems. Like that's what business is about, is solving people's problems. And so if you remember that, you go in and diagnose, do they have the problem that you solve or not? Then you say, okay, great, you do. Yes, let's move forward to, let's talk about the budget. Okay, let's talk about how the decision in your buying process is actually made in your world before any of the sales stuff starts. Because now you've got it all. You understand they have a problem you solve. You understand how they, like when they've done it before, where the money's come from. You understand who makes the decisions. And then all you have to say is like, could I just share like how I solve this problem? And it'll take 5 minutes. And then if this is something that you want to do, we'll move forward. And they'll say, yeah, that's great. And this sales conversation is not pushy any longer. This sales conversation is awesome for your prospect. It's an experience they will remember, because most people don't ever go into a sales conversation like this. Most people, they'll either push and throw and shove, spill all their candy in the lobby, or they heard about this thing called marketing. No offense, I love marketing. I'm a huge marketing fan. I've been in the inner circle with Russell Brunson for years. I love the guy. I love marketing. I love everything about it. But sometimes they skip the conversation. And when people skip the conversation, they go right to marketing. It's like, oh, here's this magic pill. You can take it. And everybody kind of wants the magic pill, and they buy it, and then they feel disappointed, and then it's a bad experience, rather than being pushy in a conversation because you just didn't learn how to sell. And then you go over marketing, and that doesn't work either. So it comes down to connecting with people. People want to connect. If you ask somebody, and I ask a lot of people all the time, I say, why do you even use Facebook groups in your world, in your business? Oh, I love to connect with people. I love to network with people. That's the answer you get majority of the time. And if that's the case, that's fine. Just remember that, right? When you're selling something, connect with them, network with them a little bit before you understand whether or not they're a fit for you to sell to them, because then it won't ever feel pushy. Then it'll feel like a normal conversation going into it. Let me see, do I have permission to see if you have the problem myself? And if yes, then go down that path. And now it will never, ever feel pushy. And that, my friends, is how to sell without being pushy. I hope this one helped. Guess what? You've just been tuned in. I love your face. I hope you had a wonderful Tuesday so far today. Hope you're closing lots of deals. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.